Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor. Now it's time for your weekend tech tip, brought to you by Chevy Silverado.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, my question that I had for Steve is about these additives, right? We talk about all these different additives, from Monster Bite to Slamola to oils, marinade, for crying out loud, liquid, liquid soluble. I mean, there's a lot of different options that you can get from ProCure. Now, there's a reason why they're a worldwide dominator when you're talking about scent, when you're referring, believe it or not, worldwide. Phil, Steve, you guys are amazing. You've done some amazing things. My question, though, is Slamola or Monster Bite, one of the two. I'm only going to spend the $8 for one. Which one am I buying?
Monster Bite, hands down.
Oh, okay, that's a pretty easy answer. Why?
Well, that's a bite stimulus. That's what triggers them to feed. But
okay,
it's good and bad. I mean, they may not buy your rod, right? If you're at buoy 10 with 10,000 boats around you, and you put a spinning fish out packed full of stuffer bait with Monster Bite, as soon as they smell it, it's a reaction that just makes them want to feed. But they're going to hit the first thing closest to them. So
maybe they smell it behind you or whatever it might be, and then they just happen to come across another boat's gear and then grab it. Okay.
Yeah, the fish farms actually pump that into the water just because the fish are stressed, and it just triggers them to feed, so they get bigger quicker.
Interesting. So there's a little science to that.
Yes.
What's in it?
Can't tell you.
You ain't getting that kind of secret, I can guarantee, because there's so many people out there these days. And you know what, maybe even it's kind of slowed down a little bit, but at one point in time, and you know this very well, that we would take different products from ProCure, we'd mix and match, and just, most of the time when I would do it, I'd come up with a good one, and I'd never be able to duplicate it again.
Me too.
I mean, it's just one of those things. I've had a couple that were just like automatic, but I can never do it again because I never wrote it down. But those are things that you need to keep in mind. Monster Bite, Slamola powder, and then you can buy individual, maybe more slanted towards egg fishing. Matter of fact, we have a question for you, but before I lose that train of thought, you've got metabisulfites, you've got other sulfites, you've got all kinds of different things that people can purchase to add to their stuff to make it a little bit different. Is that an advantage? It would have to be, but is it something that we really need?
Well, yes and no. I mean, everybody likes to tweak it and make it their own, just like you were saying. So all of those ingredients, if a guy wants to build his own egg here, the nitrite, the sulfites, the metabisulfites, that way they can take salt, sugar, those ingredients, and build their own egg here. You know, add some dye to it and make it their own.
Gotcha.
And we have that's big business. There's a lot of people, a lot of the guides, and they're even taking the store-bought cures and doctoring up with those. So they're just making it their own.
Yeah. One of my favorite things, I don't know if I should do it or not, I love the liquid egg cure. For me, it's just super simple, and it always seems to work, but I'm adding some of the powder cures in there as well to kind of spice them up a little bit.
Sure.
I'm assuming that's not taking anything away from it.
No, that's a mild cure, and I do the same thing when we're up hover fishing. If we're having a slow bite with Jason's eggs, I'm using the liquid egg cure jacked up with sodium nitrate and sodium sulfite.
Gotcha.
So I'm adding about 2 ounces of sulfite and about maybe a ½ ounce of nitrite to it, just so it doesn't mold on me.
And that's because Jason's eggs aren't very good?
On that maybe particular day. There's no one bait that works 7 days a week.
No, I mean, there's no doubt.
Yeah, there just isn't. So we've always got 3 to 5 different types of eggs. That egg is always in the boat.
All right, so one of our viewers called up here just a little bit ago, and they had a question for Steve. It's actually a 2-part question. So we'll start with the first part, the powdered egg cures. Okay. Question was, if he buys it, doesn't necessarily use it, but he wants to store it for a long period of time, what's the best way to store these powdered cures the way that they sit right now?
So these cures will never go bad, right? If moisture gets to them, they will get hard.
Oh, yeah.
But I've even had people run them through a cheese grater.
Oh.
There's nothing in there that's going to go bad or south or in any which way, shape, or form. So if you can just, the main thing is put the lid on tight, right? And if you're in a moist area, just put them inside of a cooler with the lid closed.
Okay,
right?
Just keep the moisture away from it.
Yeah, keep the moisture away from it. And same with all of our powders. There's nothing to go bad in them. They'll last. You know, your kids can use them when you're long gone.
Okay.
But if moisture gets to them, they'll get hard. Just just run them through a grater.
Okay, fair enough.
Or throw them away and buy more. Right?
Well, that would have been my answer, but he likes to make sure everyone's taken care of. All right, the gels, the oils, and the marinades was the other question. How long do those last, and the best way to store them? We've talked about this many times, but we've got Steve here, so let's get his answer.
So the oils will go 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
I keep all of my scents in just a little Playmate cooler. You know, no ice or anything, but that way if I go to jump in your boat, all I have to do is grab my cooler and go. It keeps all the scents there. But on a 90-degree day with that cooler lid closed, you know, it's low 70s in that cooler.
Right.
You're going to go 5 years, no problem in the oil.
Okay.
The gel is much more durable. It's got a 12-year shelf life.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I will admit what I do with mine. I just write down the month and the year that I put it into my boat. When it's in my garage, which you've been very generous over the years, I've got a lot of this stuff. If it comes out of my garage, I'm still considering it new, quite honestly. And when I put it into the sled, I mark the date and the year, and I keep it in there for a solid year. As long as, like you said, never gets to the sun, never gets overheated. I keep it either in the one of the fish box, not fish box, but the seat boxes, whatever it is, to keep it away from the sun. After a year, though, just because of my own mind, it just starts to play tricks. It's like fish and herring.
Confidence.
I toss it and I put a new one in. That's just what I do. But you can certainly get it to last for a long period of time. Keep it out of the sun and try to keep it as cool as you possibly can. You mentioned a cooler. Every time I get into my sled, I've got a big cooler, an old school Gott cooler. Yeah. That'll take you back a ways. And that's my boat cooler. And I've got all my scents in there and different things that I'm going to use for that particular day. And it always keeps it cold. So it's very, very durable, but it's certainly something to consider. Okay. Buoy 10 kicks off in 11 days.
Yes.
Okay? If folks are watching and they're trying to maybe get an edge on somebody, is there something that you would say that they could do with their stuffer baits to maybe just have a little bit something different than everybody else?
Well, I wouldn't go with just one bait, right? I mean, because maybe today they want the regular, and then tomorrow they want it, you know, with who knows squid oil, or have an assortment, right?
Sure.
So if we've got 4 rods out, we've got 4 different baits going. And on that second takedown of that rod, then we switch everybody to it.
Because now you got a pattern going.
Yeah, now you can put on a show. If you got 4 to 6 rods with something they want, that's when everybody's watching you catch the fish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Drives me bonkers.
So,
so often it's my boat, not always.
And I can't remember what I put on your rod. I'm pretty much the bait boy in the boat. But I will put a container by your feet, say this is what you're using.
Gotcha.
And then when that one person gets that, like I said, that second one, we switch everybody to it. And then it's a clinic.
That's Jason's trick. Yeah. Load the boat with rods.
There we go.
That's it. Everybody says, oh, Jason catches so many fish. Well, if you got 6 or 8 rods in there, it's the boat with 1 rod or 2 rods.
It is tough with 1 or 2 rods.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I'm sticking to my story.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, we have got the deal of the week for Fisherman's Marine. You're going to want to see it. We'll be right back.